Hello, and thank you for joining us for Legends and Legacies. My name is Cameron Bazin, and I'm the Artistic Director of the Miami Dance Hub. We are thrilled today to have Marielena Mencia and Yanis Pikieris as our guests, a husband and wife team who were both former international dance stars. They are now directors, choreographers, have started a school and a company, also now an international ballet competition, and are strong voices in the Miami dance community. It's a pleasure to speak with them. Welcome to you both. Thanks for being here.
Hello.
It's a pleasure.
Okay. So Marielena, let's start with you. You were born in Cuba, yes?
Yes.
And you came to Miami at a very young age.
Yeah.
Yes. So how did you get involved in dance?
It was my mom, because this is a funny story, but she was always a little heavy, and she was scared that I was going to get too heavy too. So that's the reason why she put me in dance.
Oh my goodness, how old were you?
7.
And you studied here in Miami?
Yeah.
With, what was the school that you studied?
Ballet concerto.
And after your studies, you joined the National Ballet of Caracas.
Yes.
How did you end up going there?
Well, there were 2 dancers that were in Miami choreographing a piece, Miguel Campaneria, that now has his own school, but he was with Pittsburgh Ballet Theater, and then Manuel Molina also. And they came to choreograph, and they were starting a company in Venezuela with Vicente Nebrada. And Manny was going to the company, and he recommended me and a friend of mine to go. So that was our first experience.
That was your first professional kind of company experience.
Yeah.
Wow. And then after you danced in Caracas, your career took you to Europe.
Yes.
I mean, you've danced an array of ballets by Ashton, very classical Ashton and Cranko, and the classics, Giselle, Sleeping Beauty. Was there a role that you particularly loved during that period?
Probably Romeo and Juliet was my favorite.
And why did you love that?
Well, because I danced it with him.
With Romeo.
Oh, you were Romeo.
But I love Cranko's choreography.
Me too,
I love
actually.
it. It's so simple. It's natural, you know. So that's my favorite, and Giselle also.
So very classical ballets, really.
Yes.
Totally classical. So Yanis, your career was launched when you were winning dance competitions, ballet competitions.
You know, the truth is I joined Ballet de Caracas as well, maybe a year after her.
So did you guys know each other then?
No, we met there. Actually, she will have a funny story for you to hear later on. But I auditioned for Ballet Internacional de Caracas on their first year on tour, their first tour, and I was hired. And then I left to that company, to Venezuela, where Marielena and I met. But and with that company and with Vicente Nebrada, I went to the Jackson competition. Okay. But I was already a principal dancer in Ballet de Caracas. And I mean to say, and then from Ballet de Caracas, we went to the Bavarian State Opera in Munich. And when I went to the competition in Moscow, I was already a principal dancer at the Bavarian State Opera. So I already had an established career going on before Moscow.
And that was kind of, I mean, it was sort of new at the time, the whole, which is so booming now, competitions. But at that time, it was a little bit new.
Well, in those times, it was pretty much every 4 years. Right. You know, like the Olympics kind of thing, not every year, not so many of them. And of course, you would either go to Varna or Moscow, right. And then Jackson began. Which was a great experience for me because I got to participate now thinking back in the first one.
And you were in the first competition.
I was in the first competition. I won the silver medal. And I came with Vicente Nebrada, who was a member of the jury, and brought me there.
And Robert Joffrey was the president.
Joffrey, of course.
Yes,
of course,
I mean, going back to Joffrey days, he was very much involved in that.
Course,
yes,
totally,
he was.
Totally. So it was great. I had no costumes. I had the same unitard for everything. I just danced. It was very unprepared in a way, but bold, and just danced. That's always been my thing.
I can see that in you now, actually, that sort of boldness, that passion and boldness. Yeah. And you were the first kind of Westerner to win.
In Moscow, yeah.
So your dance careers took you all over the world. For both of you, what are kind of highlights, or who was very influential in your dance careers? would you consider? I mean, you've mentioned Nebrada a couple of times.
Yeah, definitely Nebrada.
Or your training, perhaps.
Well, it was interesting talking about Nebrada, that we came from his company, and when we got to the Cranko ballets that we danced together there in Munich, it came automatically to us because we had all this experience of dancing Nebradas or waltzes and all these other great pavilions that he created. So it was rather easy for us.
Yeah.
Even though we were very young, at least the partnering technical part of things was a breeze.
It was kind of a natural fit.
What we had to develop was the theatricality and the story.
Did you guys travel together through your careers? Consciously, I guess? I mean, were you married at that time?
Yeah.
Okay.
When we were leaving Venezuela, when we were hired in Munich, we got married before we went to Germany. So, yeah, it's been a long time.
So how did you meet? There's a story here, I'm sure.
In a taxi stand.
Oh, well, we met at a taxi stand, but before that I had auditioned at a taxi stand in Venezuela. Yes, officially.
Officially, yes.
Yeah. But before that, a couple months back, I had auditioned in Colombia when the company was on tour, and she was already in the company. And I had auditioned there at the theater with my father, who was a friend of Vicente Nebradas, who was my teacher, my father. And she was there in the class that I auditioned. And she has a story about that, what she thought then.
Well, we were in class, and then one of my colleagues in the company goes, "Oh God, look at that guy! Isn't he great?" And I went, "Are you kidding me?"
Great handsome or great as a dancer?
Great as a dancer, and I see him. He has hair down to here. He has like green tights. And orange leg warmers and a striped shirt. And I went, "Are you kidding me?"
Was it a very conservative atmosphere? Was that like popping out?
Well, I stood out.
Well,
You stood out.
No, she said, "What's that?"
What's that? Oh, that's what I said.
And that's how it all started?
No, we met a bit later.
Then later on, when he was hired, we
I cut my hair.
Were you influential in cutting the hair?
No, he already came with the haircut. So that changes everything.
It was funny. And then my father was sitting with Nebrada in the audience watching me audition, and he said, "Just take him with you and put it at the end over there, but just take him with you because he needs to go. It's time to go. He needs to go."
There's kind of a special relationship that happens, first of all, in a company, but especially when two people dance together. And did you? I mean, you must have felt that, like you know each other so well, and how you move, and you breathe together, I guess. Did you feel that?
Oh, totally.
Yeah, but actually in Venezuela we did not dance
Venezuela,
together.
we didn't dance together. It started in Munich.
He had different partners, so it's actually the whole thing started when we left together to Munich.
And was it something that you knew you wanted to have happen? You wanted to be dancing together?
Yes.
So then you traveled kind of as a couple.
Yeah.
Pretty much through everywhere.
Years.
And you danced just many ballets.
Many Don Quixotes,
Many Don Quixotes.
Many Don Quixotes, okay? Oh my God. And many Romeo and Juliets, that's for sure.
Talking about Miami City Ballet, it was a mostly Balanchine repertoire. And had you done Balanchine before?
Yeah. Not a lot, but some.
So it wasn't unfamiliar to you. Did you, when you first joined Miami City Ballet, and both of you were founding members of the company under Edward Villela, was it unusual that you had such a strong Balanchine repertoire, or how did you feel about that?
I said, well, we knew that when we came, and we took it as a change at the moment. And I, for example, right before that, I was dancing with Ballet du Nord in France, which had a Balanchine repertoire. So when I got here to Miami City Ballet, I had already danced Apollo, Rubies, Donizetti, Tchaikovsky Pas de Deux, Who Cares?
So it wasn't unfamiliar to you at all?
What I found interesting was to see Edward's approach to many of these roles that I relearned from him, and then I understood them. And understood that I didn't understand them before when I was dancing them over there.
Oh, interesting. Even though someone from New York City Ballet probably had staged it, but you got it. We were getting it from the source.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Simple as that. Donizetti variations, how he did it, immediately, which for me was very, I could identify really well with many of those same roles.
Yes.
So that was great. That was influential.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So talk a little bit about choreography, like what led you in that direction, and is it something that just happened kind of naturally? Or?
Pretty much. I always enjoyed it and did it as while we danced, and I guess lacking repertoire. I started doing pas de deux because of the galas.
Did you do pas de deux for the two of you?
Yeah.
Oh, many, yeah.
He must have known you so well that it was very easy for him to do what was natural for both of you.
Right. Right. So it worked out really good.
And you did the kind of the, I guess I don't want to say circuit, but you traveled around doing galas.
Yes. On our time off, we did a lot of galas around.
So when you were with the company, you were with the company, but then on your free time, you would just sort of make the circuit and make the rounds.
Right.
Wow. Throughout the world.
It was a lot of fun.
Pretty much. And then for some years we just did that. Once we left, I guess, where? We left many places.
Was there a favorite place that you liked to be?
Munich.
That's my favorite.
For me, Munich.
Do you speak German?
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Wow.
A little bit. He
She
speaks
speaks
more.
a little bit. I've been more dedicated. I keep it up.
I'm very lazy.
Keep it up. So we were
What's my
7, 8
favorite?
years there. So
Yeah, we really loved Munich.
Yeah. I've never been to Munich.
It was great. I mean, they treated artists and dancers with lots of respect.
Did you feel a difference from being in Europe as opposed to being in the U.S.? Did you feel sort of a difference in the atmospheres for dance? The support for dance, maybe, the audiences for dance?
Well, I say for sure the lack of security as compared to the security of a job in Europe. In any kind of those theaters and insurance and these kind of things, benefits, worker benefits, this type of thing, of course, huge disparity.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go back to talking about Miami City Ballet. So when you were working, I don't know if you had retired yet or not, but you were working in as a choreographer for Miami City Ballet?
No, with David Palmer as directors of the Contemporary Dance Series,
Okay.
which was a program that Edward designed at that time to keep as the company moved to the new theater, to the Arts Center, to keep a permanence in the city of Miami Beach. And this program was performed in their studios.
And for younger people, younger
And
students?
for younger audiences and contemporary works, different, kind of like what we were doing at Maximum Dance Company, David and I, before
That you did afterwards, that you
Yeah,
started
before that,
later?
yeah.
Yes. And Marielena, were you still performing at this time, or you had already?
No, this is way,
No.
way after.
What prompted the two of you to found a school here in Miami?
Well, we came back to Miami after when I got pregnant. So then we decided, what do we do? And I love to teach. I always loved to teach. I taught the company. I was ballet mistress when I was pregnant.
For Miami City Ballet?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
lovely.
So I took rehearsals. I taught company class every morning. So I really enjoyed it. I never had any experience with kids. So it was a risk, but I thought, I really want to start something. I want to teach kids, what I know, So we said, let's give it a shot, see what happens. And our son was a baby at that time. And so we just moved here, and it was great.
Was this the environment that we're in now, where we are doing this interview?
Yes.
Was this the first place that you started the school?
Yeah, next year is going to be our 25th anniversary here.
Congratulations.
And we had bought a house very close by, so we ended up here because we looked at an area close to our house. That's what we wanted, and we were lucky, very lucky to.
Talk about being in Miami. What is it that draws you to Miami?
I don't know. I love it. I grew up here, so I love the fact that we live like in a, like Palmetto Bay, but that there's you can go to Miami Beach, you can go to Brickell, you can go to Coconut Grove if you want to, or you can just stay in your little neighborhood.
Right.
But you have that, you know, and the melting pot of people, and
Right.
I don't know, I just love it here.
It feels very
I'm
natural to you.
Latina, you know.
That's right. That's right. Do you feel the same?
Green, green. That's for me. That's important. The sun,
The
the sun,
sun.
the weather, the water.
The Latin culture here, which is it is a melting pot, actually, very much a melting pot. Let's go back to talking about choreography a little bit. What inspires you to choreograph?
Oh,
That's the million-dollar question,
yeah.
right?
Life, color, nature, the wind, the wind, the music. You know, my soul. Anything and everything. No, it's all over. Pretty much everything.
Do you have types of music that you like?
No, not necessarily. I just, wherever it lands, you know it, kind of thing. I'm not searching for anything specific ever. I kind of get there.
Sort of an intuition that you have.
Intuition, yeah. I'm very spontaneous. To me, it's really, it's really about, of course, the music, no? Yeah. But the dancers, because it's about the dancers to me. That's the most important part, and that relationship, that discovery together, that creating something that did not exist before together. It's all about the dancers, and that's the most important part for me. The theme, the rest, whatever, that all comes with it. And never have too much of a plan. Just get there.
You've done a lot of choreography too, on older people, professionals, younger people. So you have to go in lots of different directions.
Very spontaneously, you know. By now you just hear something and you see things. You know. And enjoy it. You have to enjoy it. Yeah, you have to love it.
Do you choreograph?
Oh no. Well, I do for, you know, I stage things, I choreograph for my students, but I wouldn't call it like, you know.
Like driven to be a choreographer?
No.
You wear the other hat. You're the school hat.
I have great respect. I mean, I'm going like, you know, I see my son, I see my husband put things together, I'm going like, God, that looks so good. Why can't I do that?
I feel like that about choreography too. But I think it's a very special talent.
But teaching is my passion, so.
What do you hope for, both of you actually, what do you hope for in the dance world as things move forward, certainly as we come out of this major year that we've had in the past, you know, where we've been doing on Zoom and computers and all? What are you looking forward to, and what do you hope happens with dance?
I hope we all start dancing for happiness. I think that's where the focus should be, like the phoenix. And not start complaining and creating works about all the suffering we've all gone through, not to be forgotten and not to be disrespected, but I think one has to move on and continue to move on, and there's only one way, and that's forward. So how? So enjoy it, love it, and be positive, and move on, you know, to better times.
Well said.
You're working so much with students. Do you have a message that you inspire them with, or you know, young people? You're sort of grooming them to be the next generation. How do you do that?
First and foremost, the most important thing is that you have to work hard and be committed, completely 100%. If you're not, it's not worth it. You have to do it. But I also tell them, you know, they have to maybe not put all your eggs in one basket. And now there's so many opportunities that I think we didn't have, that they can go to college online. And you know, because you never know what could happen. And then you have that other little thing there, holding on. Maybe you retire early or whatever, but you have that. But you know, if it's not your passion, don't do it.
Well, obviously, you are two masters who have years of experience on your plates and have done so much. So I'm sure that anybody that works with you just gets such a tremendous thrill.
What I say, take your soul to the dance. And when you're at the dance, let her dance. And then your body will follow.
I can tell with your movements the type of dancer you were. Just how you move, and when I see you demonstrate in class, I can tell the type of dancer you were. Like very passionate, very like, do it this way.
Death or life.
Yes. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was lovely to
Thank
speak
you,
with you.
Cameron. Thank you.